Bailey, this one is straight out of a sitcom. Picture this. 1986 Cleveland, 1.5 million balloons, the best of intentions, and one really, really big whoopsie that still haunts the city. Intrigued?
I think I know where this is going.
Oh, it's a disaster.
I'm so intrigued.
Just wait, it gets worse.
We are just the masters of disasters, aren't we?
Calamity Janes. This is a good one. What comes to mind when you think of Cleveland? This is a genuine answer. You can...
Moo.
What? Oh, dang it. Welcome to Calamity Janes.
Right
I'm Madison.
past that intro.
You do it.
Welcome to Calamity Janes, where two anything but plain Janes and sisters talk about disasters. I'm Bailey.
I'm Madison.
And she almost ran right through this little intro. You wouldn't have a clue who we were.
I'm sweating so much.
She's very excited for this episode, which makes me excited for this episode. So let's listen.
This is a really good one. Not too long, not too extensive, but I think we're going to like it.
Can you imagine, though, if you had said, this is a really boring one? I gotta admit it, guys. This is easily the worst one I've ever brought to the table. Let's get into it.
You know, I'm going to do that one time. And be like, sit down, get ready for the next hour and 48 minutes of your life. We're going to talk extensively about, I don't even know, something really boring.
The cricket invasion that happens every fall. Literally, the crickets that cake on the walls down south. Maybe it's everywhere.
Oh my gosh,
but like
I know.
In general.
I do have one very clear memory from my childhood of going to elementary school in the morning and there being millions of black crickets on the walls of the doors. Like, we couldn't get inside. I think they had to take us in through another entrance.
Yeah, it's so gross, and I can't explain it, and that can't be good. That can't be good. It has to be a disaster in and of itself, but it is easily the most boring disaster, and I couldn't hear about it for an hour and 45 minutes, so there you go.
Okay, good to know. Yeah. That's now at the bottom of the list then.
Excellent, but still on the list.
Yes. Okay, what comes to mind when you think of Cleveland?
Drew Carey. Cleveland rocks, Ohio. No?
I have no idea what
you
you're talking about.
You are too young. Oh my God, the Drew Carey show. It's in the song, the theme song.
That is great. I'm glad you have that memory.
Yes, thank you. I will see my old butt out.
Well, I think they have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't know anything else about it. But in 1986, apparently the reputation was not so good. In an effort to spread the word about their revitalized city and to change their public image, the city of Cleveland hatched a plan.
A makeover is,
yes.
Ooh, I love a good makeover montage.
They saw that the year prior, in 1985, Disneyland had set a world record by releasing 1 million balloons simultaneously, and it went spectacularly.
Did it? Because that doesn't sound like a great idea.
Yeah, they did it for their 30th anniversary, I think, and it was a big public hit. Everyone liked seeing the balloons.
This, you said 1965?
1985?
Oh, oops.
Does that change things for you?
No, I'm just trying to imagine like what the world was like then and like what the impact of releasing 1 million, like maybe there weren't a whole lot of planes around. How did they just release 1 million balloons and everyone was fine with it?
We will certainly talk about the impact that something like that has.
Okay, happy to hear it.
So Cleveland teamed up with the United Way of Cleveland to put on a publicity stunt for the ages, the Balloonfest. Ever heard of it?
Okay. No, but like do they have any is there any historical relevance for balloons? Like,
no.
Why did they just they just picked
They just saw that everyone
balloons.
was like, "Yay, Disneyland." And they were like, "We could do that."
They were like, balloons. That's our thing. Cleveland is now going to be Balloon City.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, that's a choice.
They'd put some effort into revamping their image, and they wanted to catch the attention of the rest of the nation. So they were like, let's release a crap load of balloons, and that'll show them.
Yeah, I fail to see the connection here, but what do I know? I'm not in PR.
Well, Heining, I think. Oh, sorry.
Treb?
Yeah, Treb. That's not part of the disaster. You should gloss over that part. That is not
I'm
important.
just imagine it's short for something like Trouble. Well, his
That would
last
be
name's
cool.
like Clef. Trouble, Clef.
He was the organizer of the event, and he had this to say. This is a prime example of what United Way is trying to do in terms of saying, Cleveland, it's your time. It's time to say yes. It's time to say it is a happening city. We are on the move. It's no longer the butt of jokes.
Okay, I don't think that statement is working for you the way you want it to. Also, isn't the United Way like it's a philanthropic organization?
Yes. It's a local movement of volunteers, advocates, partners, and donors committed to advancing the common good by mobilizing communities around education, financial stability, and health. I think they are an organization. They organize volunteers for a lot of different things.
Okay, so that still, I see no connection between the United Way's message and balloons.
Yeah, I think you're focusing too much on the symbolism of the balloon. There is no symbolism with balloons.
If they could have let me in that room when they were brainstorming, I just could have been like, guys, what are we doing
There
here?
are so many points in this story where you will think, if I had been there, I could have told them.
If just one voice of reason had been there to say, pump the brakes. Let's really talk through this.
Yeah. Well, just wait. So they wanted to blow Disneyland's measly 1 million balloons out of the water and release 2 million balloons simultaneously to set a new world record. Yeah.
2, I guess, go big or get out of here.
Yeah. So the plan was to raise funds for the local United Way branch and to make sure the world knew that Cleveland was on the up and up. Organizers spent 6 months planning the event. Keep that in mind. For 6 months, people knew that this was going to happen, and no one did anything to stop it.
No one raised a red flag. No one. It's a slow motion disaster.
Yeah. What they came up with was essentially this. They erected a large net structure suspended in the air that was about the size of a city block. Underneath the net was 2,500 volunteers, most of whom were students, gathered beneath it, and on the morning of September 27th in Cleveland's public square, they began filling balloons with helium and releasing them into the net above.
Did you plan? You said September 27th?
Yeah.
Did you? That's like...
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, as we record this, and it'll be the day before the day this goes live. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
How special. No, I did not plan this at all. It's just
Fun
like that.
fact.
Kismet.
Okay, yep.
Okay, yeah, so there was a big net, like, above the buildings in the city square, and all of these volunteers were in stations below it, would fill up a balloon, tie it off, let it go into the net above. There are news clips from that morning, and you can see the volunteers with their fingers covered in medical tape because they were tying so many balloons that they developed blisters.
I hate tying balloons. It is truly... Andrew and I
so
decorated
horrible.
one of his coworkers' desks, and I was like, this is hell to me. This is what hell will be, is tying
endless balloons.
Endless balloon tying.
And I've never even tied balloons after filling them up with helium either. I mean, that probably doesn't have much of an effect on the tying process, but I can't even tell you how many times I have blown up a balloon and then accidentally set it off in a whoopee cushion stream around the room because my piddly fingers are dainty and not any good at this. So,
and see, I would have thought your fingers for that very reason would be perfect for tying balloons because my giant hands are like all clumsy and fumbly and like you can't tie this cute little knot like you need to. So whose fingers are good for tying balloons?
I don't know. I think it's because my fingers are too weak. You have massive hands, but my fingers...
I do. I have big, strong, massive hands, and you have tiny, delicate fingers.
Most people listening to this probably do not know that my entire life has been plagued by small hand jokes.
Tiny hands. Tiny, like the original tiny hand, the original butt of tiny hand jokes is Madison.
I have remarkably small hands.
I kind of want caricatures of us done, but with our where our hands are emphasized. if we ever find ourselves on a boardwalk, we need to sit together and we need someone to like.
I think we
really,
could probably make that happen one day.
I think so. That's definitely within the realm of possibility.
For sure.
Dream big.
Mm-hmm. So as per usual, this event looked super fun from the outside and was really unpleasant for those actually doing the legwork underneath the net. So a storm was expected to move in around the time of the launch. Not wanting to miss their chance at a world record and reputational redemption, they decided to launch early, and at 1:50 p.m., nearly 1.5 million balloons beautifully, whimsically, and disastrously floated out of the city square and into the heavens. There was excitement, cheering, and general merriment in the air. I also probably should have clarified this before. Clevelandites? Clevelandans?
You didn't look this up
No, I
beforehand?
didn't.
Okay,
Well, every time I looked up, what do you call someone from Cleveland, the answers were not nice.
Oh, we are so sorry, Cleveland.
I know. I don't know. I bear no ill will towards Cleveland, but everything was a joke. And I'm sure that would be any time you looked up something like what do you call someone from?
Normally on Clevelander. It's on Wikipedia. If you go on that right, like the fast facts on the right side, the right-hand column, it always includes what people from the city are called, and it's a Clevelander. And fun fact, did you know that that word for what like Clevelander is called a demonym? Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Is a word that identifies a group of people in relation to a particular place. A demonym. The more you know. Okay.
Very interesting. Okay. Clevelanders everywhere felt an enormous sense of pride for their city, shouting that they were the mistake on the lake no more.
Oh.
I just thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
Mistake on the... Okay. What did Cleveland do to earn this reputation?
I really have never heard anything bad about
really good or bad, but like for them to have like...
I certainly have never heard them called that before.
The mistake on the lake.
I know. I just thought that was so funny. Okay. Bailey, you may be thinking, but wait, where's the disaster? Why are we even here? I love balloons, and I can't believe they would ever hurt anyone.
No, I'm pretty sure this whole thing has been a disaster since the first word out of your mouth.
You are correct. I am here to tell you just how wrong you are, because had you followed my script, you would have been wrong. So here we go.
So sorry.
Organizers knew that after rising to a certain height, eventually the balloons would deflate and fall back down to earth or shatter. So let's take a quick science break and talk about what exactly happens when a latex helium balloon is released outside.
I love science.
I know. This is a good one. Typically, when a helium-filled balloon floats off into the great unknown, it will keep floating upwards until the air around it starts to change. The higher it goes, the less dense the air around it becomes. The helium inside the balloon begins to spread out, making the balloon expand. Since latex balloons can actually float several miles up, actually about 5 to 6 miles up, kind of crazy.
Wow, those are strong.
They are, yeah. So since they can get so high where the air is pretty chilly, the latex can actually shatter when the helium expands past the balloon's limits.
Does it say how big they get? Like,
I don't know. I did not look into that.
I'm sure it depends on the balloon. But yeah, like I'm wondering, do these little, like 1 foot wide balloons turn into like 5 foot wide balloons?
That would be
curious.
Really interesting to know. I don't know. I looked at a couple of sources for this, and I did not see any of that information. That's a great question.
I think someone who does science could probably let us know in an email.
Probably. I hope they do. Yeah, that is not information I'm willing to look into.
Nope.
Organizers were okay with this because the balloons usually shatter into very small biodegradable pieces that don't typically pose a threat to wildlife. And those that don't reach that height and come back down deflated or partially deflated are spread out enough to avoid any acute damage to a particular area.
Biodegradable in 1985?
Yes.
Really?
This is 86, but yes.
Oh my god.
I
I
know.
cannot get this year right.
That's okay. Disneyland was in 85. I did
That's
say
what
85
I was thinking.
earlier.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they were biodegradable.
Huh.
And these latex balloons typically biodegrade at about the same rate as an oak leaf.
Huh. Is that slow or fast?
I mean, think
It's
about
organic.
leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know if maybe oak leaves are an especially stubborn leaf that stay around.
Not to my knowledge.
A season. So it's a seasonal
There,
sort of
I
thing.
read a study on the environmental impact of mass balloon releases from like 1988 or in 89, I think, and that was the comparison that they drew.
That sounds like a crazy way to spend a Friday night.
That's my life, man. Podcasting is my life. Yes. So when they shatter, the pieces are very, very small. Not what you would expect, like a bird or a fish to choke on or something like that.
Okay.
So still probably not what we should be doing. Millions of balloons, but there you have it. That's what they thought was going to happen. But because a storm rolled in with a cold front, rain brought the balloons down while they were still inflated.
Oh,
Go ahead.
that's a twist.
That is a twist. That is a big twist. The organizers were very much not prepared for that.
Who could be?
Hundreds of thousands of nearly fully inflated balloons soon began to litter the streets and waterways.
Despite the fact that they're helium filled, the pressure was so high that it literally pushed them all into the ground.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them. A lot of them floated into Canada. But, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah. But a very, very large portion of them ended up real close to where they were launched.
It's just like that's one heck of a storm front.
Drivers were distracted by the colorful and now dead dreams of the United Way that obstructed the streets and crashed their cars.
Was that their words or was that your interpretation?
I might have taken some creative liberties with the situation.
It's making me feel a certain kind of way. I mean, it's probably accurate.
But drivers were distracted by the balloons, and there were car crashes as a result.
I guess I could see that. You're like, especially, I mean, I guess everyone had to know what was going on, right? That had to be like the big news of the day. So everyone knew the balloons were being launched.
Yeah, I don't think there were people in Cleveland who were like, balloons from the heavens.
Apocalypse. This is it. This is the way the world ends.
Colorful, bouncy apocalypse is upon us. No, I think everyone knew what was happening. They were also probably still pretty confused, though, because that is a very clear danger that no one anticipated. Well, certainly anyone outside of the event anticipated that happening.
No, I'm just imagining like highways, and I think we pretend like our states are have the worst highway drivers, but I think highway drivers are bad in general everywhere. I just imagine people on the highway. You have the people who would be like speeding through all of them, not caring, acting like nothing was happening, and then you'd have the slow people going super slow, being like, "Oh, I can't. What if I hit a balloon?" And they're like sitting in the fast lane while they're doing that. Oh,
I would be the slow person.
You would be, yeah.
Yeah. A nearby airport was shut down because of balloons on the runway.
I support that. I wouldn't want balloons getting sucked up into my engines.
No. Several Arabian horses were injured after they were spooked by a mass of balloons that landed in their pasture.
Oh no, what happened to them?
I don't think that they died.
Well,
but
that's
they were
good.
definitely injured. They were like prize race horses.
Did they like run away? Is that the thing? Like they tried to
I actually
somewhere?
don't know. I mean that sounds plausible. I didn't find too many details about that in particular.
Those poor horses.
I know. Innocence in all of this.
Truly.
Oh, okay. The worst consequence of Balloonfest's overinflated objective was
Oh my God. Hey, that's the first one. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We've gotten how many minutes into this episode, and that's the first balloon pun moo.
Thank
Oh,
you. I
good for you.
exercise great restraint. The worst consequence was on Lake Erie. On September 26th.
Where is Cleveland?
On Lake Erie. Do you not? Oh my gosh. The look on Bailey's face.
One of those things where I'm like, at some point, every clue, every context clue you give me about Cleveland, I'm like placing it mentally in my mind. And, like the mistake by the lake or whatever. And finally you say Lake Erie, and I'm like, wait a second, where's Ohio again?
The look on Bailey's face when Lake Erie came out of my mouth was just so chaotic.
Oh my, yes, because I was moving a little pin in my mind around the United States trying to pinpoint where Cleveland was, and it wasn't on Lake Erie.
It kind of reminds me of when you were living in Indiana and I flew into Kentucky and I was deeply confused.
Oh, yeah.
My geography was completely lacking, and when we drove from Louisville into Jeffersonville in about 20 minutes, I was so confused.
Your mind was blown. You were like, but wait, what?
Yeah, I did not get it. Well, because whenever I think of Kentucky, I think South, and Indiana
is like Midwest.
Yeah, exactly. I was really confused by the whole thing.
It's probably a kinder word than what you were about to say about Indiana.
Definitely a kinder word.
Yes, okay.
Alrighty. So now do you feel better knowing where Cleveland is?
Yes, I do. This is farther north. Okay. Yes, I have my bearings now. Thank you for giving me that minute.
So, on September 26th, one day before the event, 2 men had gone fishing on the lake. When they failed to return, authorities began searching the lake and discovered their abandoned boat on the morning of the 27th, which was the morning of the event. When thousands of balloons began to fall onto the water, the search became nearly impossible.
Oh, no.
Where rescuers hoped to see a head or colorful life jacket bobbing in and out of the water, they only saw balloons, just littered across the top of the water.
That's so disorienting and deceptive.
It is. It definitely is. They said it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Because when you're out on the lake, it's like being out on the ocean. It's massive. It's huge. You just have this vast expanse before you, and you're trying, against all hope, you're trying to find someone's head bobbing in and out of the water, or an orange life vest, and all you see are hundreds of thousands of balloons.
Colorful. Oh, man.
Yeah. The search was suspended on the 29th, and the bodies of the 2 men washed ashore shortly after.
So they still kept... did they try and clear balloons out? Like, how did they just
I didn't find too many details there. I think they just kept doing their best. I kind of, there is news footage from them out on the lake looking for these men. There will be a YouTube video in the show notes that has a compilation of news footage from that day and after.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
These thumbnails on YouTube are
the release
nuts.
The release was really cool. I mean, if you separate it from what else happened, the video of the release, like through the town square, or through the public square, and it looks really amazing. Your face does not agree.
No, there's like a mushroom cloud of balloons that are like rising up out. No, this is actually, am I scared of balloons? This is a little weird to me.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, they're like moving in sync, and like, oh no, I don't think I like this at all. No.
Okay, we learned something about you today, Bailey.
I learned something about myself. Something about this makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, we'll stop looking at it then.
Okay, yeah, that's...
The wife of one of the men sued the United Way of Cleveland and Balloonfest's organizers for $3.2 million and settled out of court.
Ugh. So what happened to them again? Like, was there a hope of finding them?
There was definitely... Well, okay, so they went missing the day before, and the search started on the day of Balloonfest.
Gotcha.
So there's no... Overnight in Lake Erie in September...
Right.
out because they found the boat abandoned.
Mm.
Likely they did not spend a night in the boat.
In the boat, yeah.
I do not think it was hopeful that they were
Gotcha.
still alive by the time Balloonfest happened. But obviously, the hope is that they would have been, that they would have had
Right.
life jackets and they would have been able to survive. So she obviously was saying that they're just horrible organizing.
Obscuring the search.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she settled out of court.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I actually don't know what exactly happened to them, but
Huh.
yeah. So, but I have seen somewhere where they are considered casualties of Balloonfest. Obviously, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a gray area because we don't know exactly what happened, but
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate coincidence that was happening.
yeah.
But, I mean, you think of all the crime that was probably, like, the endeavors to solve or stop whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things were probably disrupted
Yeah.
by the chaos that ensued.
Exactly. The owner of those Arabian horses sued the United Way of Cleveland for $100,000 and also settled out of court.
Oh, okay.
Organizers spent about $500,000 on the event, and ultimately, between the settlements and cleanup, the event was a wash.
Oh, and it didn't help their reputation because it was bungled. There's still the mistake by the lake.
Exactly. And here is the cherry on top of the
grim sundae.
Yeah. Balloonfest was recognized in the 1988 copy of the Guinness Book of World Records because remember Disneyland set the so they were trying to beat Disneyland's record. So they were recognized in the 88 copy of Guinness Book of World Records as the largest ever mass balloon release with 1,429,643 balloons. But because of the damage and risk to the environment and well-being of those in the area, that category was retired, and Guinness no longer measures environmentally unsound events.
Wow, they just anything has to. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, they were recognized one time for it, but all anyone remembers about this is how horrible it was.
Well, the silver lining, I think, is that if Guinness is now evaluating all of their records based on how environmentally friendly or detrimental they are.
Absolutely.
That's not bad.
No, that is definitely a positive outcome to this situation.
Certainly.
And
not the expected one, but at this point, Cleveland, take what you can get.
Exactly. And that is the disastrous Balloonfest of 1986.
You're right, Madison. What an interesting, unexpected disaster that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know why I'm scared of balloons as I see them, because they look like a smart, organized, giant entity in the air, like smoke. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of there is like an animated smoke villain. Like, is it a Fern Gully kind of situation where it's the sludge, but this just like amorphous, smoky, sludgy villain? That's what these balloons remind me of.
So the Balloonfest traumatizes you because you have deeply seated childhood trauma resulting from watching Fern Gully.
And animated movies like that where the villains are not human, I think.
Are you also scared of, like, mass migration? Like, those big flocks of birds that perform beautiful dances above you?
No. I mean, they are a little unsettling. I wouldn't say I'm afraid, but these balloons are like that on a far greater scale.
Interesting.
Yeah, this has been a really insightful therapy or podcast session. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy that I could help you learn this about yourself.
Dig down. Yes, because who knew?
I didn't.
Me neither.
It's really good to know.
Yes, don't keep me away from mass balloon launches.
I thought it looked really incredible. I mean,
it is visually stunning. I will give you that. I'm just saying there is something a little...
It's so whimsical.
Or evil. I just don't, yeah.
Did the movie Up really scare you? Was that a horror movie for you?
Who actually made it past the first 5 minutes of Up?
Oh my gosh, I know.
I literally didn't. I was like, how dare they play with my emotions in this way in the first 5 minutes of this movie? I'm done. You cannot fool me once. Shame on you.
Devastating.
Yeah, I can't. So no, I haven't seen the movie Up.
I do remember laying in my dorm room bed as a freshman in college, watching it on my laptop and crying
Sobbing?
into my pretzels and Nutella that I was eating. It was so sad.
Yeah, I like, no. I wasn't, and still, I don't think I'll ever be in an emotional space where like, that's the way I want to start my Disney or Pixar, whoever made it, movie watching experience.
That's fair. Well, I had to ask.
Yeah, but it's not for the balloons. It's because they're jerks.
Yeah.
They're sad jerks. Thank you. What a fascinating disaster. Sorry, Cleveland. I'm just so sorry, Cleveland.
I know. You guys really gave it a shot.
You did. Can I just look up something good about Cleveland?
Yeah, I would love that. I definitely do not want this to be an anti-Cleveland episode.
Yeah,
We've never been. We don't know. And really, the only thing that's given me a bad impression of Cleveland is what they said about Cleveland while they were trying to
what Cleveland themselves said about. Yeah. It looks beautiful in the fall.
It does. It
which
really
makes
does.
sense because it is much farther north than I realized.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It looks beautiful. It looks like there are probably, national park. So you have the mix of the city and the natural scenery. Great food. Grumpy's Cafe.
I'm sure it's a perfectly lovely place to visit.
Ooh, this Mapleside Farms, there is a barn wedding happening. Oh, so classy.
I'm sold. You had me at barn.
Yep, exactly. Twinkle lights, the whole nine. There's a waterfall. 5 places to play in the leaves and pick apples in Cleveland. You know, I've discovered there aren't great apple orchards by us in Texas. Go figure.
Shocker.
I know. And so, Cleveland, you got some apple orchards.
Come to the Midwest. You got apples and pumpkins out the wazoo.
I know. I literally looked for them to do last weekend and nothing. Nada. So, Cleveland, find yourself a nearby apple orchard and go enjoy the beautiful fall scenery that I'm sure is just cloaking the city in beauty, natural beauty.
Yes. Go. Do. Enjoy.
And everyone else, even if you're not in Cleveland, all 5 of our listeners in Cleveland are probably like, okay, we get it. It's enough.
Or they're like, why did you have to bring this up? It's such a sore spot.
Such a still tender.
Well, this was fun, Bailey. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Moo, for another amazing, weird, unexpected disaster.
No problem. Happy to do it. I'll be here next week.
Great. Hopefully you, our best friends, will be here next week too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Nope.
This is not YouTube.
This is not YouTube. Although we do have a YouTube channel if you want to go subscribe. We just repost our episodes. If that's your preferred method of listening, you can go subscribe to us there.
Yes.
But thank you for listening, allowing us in your ear canals this week.
Oh, Bailey.
Please
Why
subscribe.
do you always trip over the finish line?
Tell a friend. Help me out here. This is a team sport.
Hey, I just...
We appreciate you. We love you. We hope to be in your ears this time next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.